There's nothing like an old-fashioned rivalry to greet us on this beautiful Thursday evening. It's high school boys basketball from the Galvin Court in White Bear Lake. The White Bear Lake area Bears hoping to gain some ground heading into postseason play in a couple of weeks, take on a Stillwater Ponies squad that has been riding the roller coaster all season long. We'll have the lineups in just a moment. Stillwater at 10 and 11, White Bear Lake at 5 and 15. Stillwater, I talked to Brady Hannigan before the game, and he said this season is not unlike playing the stock market. They've had some peaks, they've had some valleys, but he said the key theme for tonight and the rest of this season will be ball control. He's not worried about the effort. He said Stillwater goes after those 50-50 balls and offensive rebounds with considerable fierceness, but limiting turnovers, that will be crucial. Stillwater beat White Bear Lake back on January 8th in the first meeting of this series, 69-65. But they've had a tougher time keeping up with some of the higher level teams in the state. As we take a look at the Suburban East Conference standings, Cretin-Durham Hall undefeated, East Ridge and CDH have one more game against each other. I believe that is tomorrow. White Bear Lake, they've got a few conference wins, trying to get out of that cellar and give themselves an extra ounce of motivation heading into section play. And for Stillwater, it's looking like they will have to start their section campaign on the road. They're going to have 4 teams with 20 wins or more, and while a lot of attention is on East Ridge, Cretin-Durham Hall, and Tartan, it's going to be a dogfight to get out of that section into state. We'll talk more following the Star Spangled Banner. With those pleasantries concluded, they will introduce the starters. As we said, Stillwater won the first meeting 69-65. Henry Persich, the senior, had 24 points. There are a couple of players who are out due to injury, Reed Kunyat and Wek Kunyat, so that's going to take away some height for the Stillwater lineup tonight. On the White Bear Lake side, they've had a lot of close games as you look at Aaron Turner, the head coach, but they've had a tough time finishing in front. You look at all those games that were within reach, including that first meeting with Stillwater. It suggests White Bear Lake could be a team to look out for down the road, and they had some great years when Jack Janicki was in the lineup, including a state tournament appearance. But trying to finish those close games will be their burning question. Brady Hannigan, the head coach for Stillwater, he's been at the helm a long time. And there's a look at Henry Persich, averaging just under 15 a game. Both teams not known for offensive explosiveness compared to Creek-Durham Hall and Tartan in the section. White Bear Lake averaging 60 a game, Stillwater 58.7. Colin Piper averaging 19.5, and that's based on the games that have been published. There are some missing notes as they are introducing the White Bear Lake starters. Don't worry, the lights are not malfunctioning. This is a theme at some schools. Matamidi does something similar when their starters get introduced, and at gyms with video boards like White Bear Lake at the Galvin Court, they add a little extra flair and creativity. As William McQuay descends into the darkness. This series, it's known as the rivalry, Stillwater and White Bear Lake. Recently, the series has tilted in favor of Stillwater, and then you look at some of those matchups, including those neck-and-neck battles, Jack Janicki, Max Shikanjansky. Those were a lot of fun. I was on hand to cover that section final 3 years ago. The semifinal, that is. Jack Janicki now at Wisconsin. He's doing well. The Badgers could be a team to watch in the NCAA men's tournament, and Shikanjansky becoming quite the football athlete in his own right. While this matchup may not have the big headline names compared to a few years ago, again, there is still a lot on the line. Stillwater, Brady Hannigan feels if they can get that ball security established and not turn over the ball at a high rate, they could make some noise in the section. Again, both teams will have to go on the road in all likelihood, with 4 teams poised to reach 20 wins. Tartan, Creek-Durham Hall, Eastridge, and St. Paul Central. Just underway here at the Galvin Court. Stillwater 10-11, White Bear Lake 5-15. Stillwater edging Roseville 2 nights ago, 53-52. And draining the runner to get us started is Kingland Adioshin. He is one of the big names for Stillwater, 12.3 a game. Persich 14.8. Again, offense doesn't come as frequently. Cardenas looking for the long 3. It clanks off the back iron. Owen Stengel with the rebound. Kruzmark out to Gabe Smith. The Stillwater starters, Adioshin, Persich, Stengel, Kruzmark, and Smith. As Kruzmark drains the 17-footer, White Bear Lake, Woods, McQuay, Cardenas, Ellers, and Piper. That's McQuay. He pulls up from 15. That's offline. Offensive rebound, and racing in for the layup is Ellers. White Bear Lake on the board in the early going. Stillwater with just 4 games left after this, including 1 more meeting with Eastridge. Stengel had his pocket picked along the baseline by Piper. The Bears played Creek-Durham Hall 2 nights ago. Look out below, a pileup. And that will end up as a foul on the Ponies. No, it's on Piper. I stand corrected. When you have players tumbling over each other like that, it's sometimes hard to tell who's responsible for the foul. But we'll take another look as Piper... Okay, I see the wraparound. That's where they take them. And that's why we have replays. Cutting inside is Kruzmark. He kicks back out after he was cut off. Working his way in was Stengel, but he can't get it to fall. Ellers comes up with it. White Bear Lake with numbers, but the lob to Woods, deflected, taken away by the Ponies. Persich over to Gabe Smith. Just outside the low post is Kruzmark, goes for the turnaround, it doesn't fall. White Bear Lake again played Cleveland Hall 2 days ago, and Stillwater not playing around defensively. Another transition stop, and that leads to another turnover. White Bear Lake will play St. Paul Central right here. Saturday night Valentine's Day game. So for the White Bear Lake faithful, I guess we know who their Valentine's going to be. Busy weekend of sports though. Girls hockey wrapping up section play. Here's a three from the wing. That's short from Persich. Cardenas with the rebound, and section wrestling taking place tomorrow and Saturday. So a lot to look forward to as Cardenas strolls in from the baseline. We're tied at 4. Again, these two teams played each other tied in the first meeting in White Bear Lake. Outside of the heavy hitters, here's a straightaway three. Adioshin can't knock it down. Jonathan Woods with the rebound. Outside of the heavy hitters, White Bear Lake has been in contention in most of their contests with conference opponents. Bounce pass, and another layup from McQuay. Lateral movement. Working in White Bear Lake's favor. Here's Persich. Changing speed. He goes inside to Gabe Smith. We're even at 6. Cardenas fires a straightaway three and hits. I was here for White Bear Lake's battle with Roseville a couple months ago. They went on some brilliant stretches but couldn't sustain it. Adioshin fakes. Goes for the hook. Smith wins the battle for the rebound and draws the foul. Again, that's one of the intangibles Brady Hannigan highlighted when I spoke to him for a few minutes pregame. They can be a roller coaster team, but they display a lot of hustle, a lot of determination. And it shows when they battle for those loose balls, those offensive rebounds that have helped them win a few games this year. They had a stretch of 3 straight wins as we have a 3 that's long against conference opponents. All 3 of those games decided by 4 points or less. And those are the games as Cardenas looking for another 3. That one bounces out. Checking that sweet spot of his. Stillwater and White Bear Lake actually share a lot of similarities when you look at their results. The difference is Stillwater on the plus side of these close contests. 12:55 left in the first. As we get our first substitution, that's Ty Carlin, number 23. And that is Adioshin, who can't get the roll. Ty was hurt in the beginning part of the season. He just returned to the lineup not too long ago. White Bear Lake ducking and dodging. It's McQuay again. 9-6, now 11-6. Stillwater takes timeout, 12:28 left in the first half. 11-6 the score in favor of White Bear Lake. As we take another look at William McQuay and his fleet-footed attacking stance. So, diving into some of these games, Stillwater, a lot of close ones. Look at some of their wins. Mounds View, 68-67. Centennial, 54-51. The first meeting with White Bear Lake, we talked about that, a 4-point win. 64-62 over Forest Lake, 66-65 over Woodbury. They were able to get one back on Park of Cottage Grove after losing to them in the first game of the year. That was a 6-point win. And then 2 days ago, a 1-point win over Roseville. There were a couple of games they dropped that were close contests, including the first meeting with Roseville and, as we noted, the first with Park of Cottage Grove. But this is a Stillwater team that finds a way to finish more often than not in crunch time. So an 11-6 margin, I doubt, will discourage them. And if you recall, White Bear Lake, that will be a traveling call. Adioshin took too many steps on his way in. But if you recall the White Bear Lake Roseville game that we had for you on SCC, that went back and forth, and White Bear Lake just ran out of gas. Cardenas looking for help, finds Preston Kreider. Ellers hands it off to Zach Turner. Cardenas makes his move. Foul on Carlin. That's a tough break.
What are you talking about? He blocked the ball.
Let's take another look. Okay, they didn't get Carlin. They got Zach Schmeichel from behind. That makes a little more sense. Again, when you watch a game in real time, broadcasters are focused on the ball, so sometimes we lose sight of our peripheral vision. Cardenas not losing sight of his, averaging 10.1 a game. It's still a tough foul to take if you're Stillwater, because it looked like Carlin would have had the block. Instead, the foul on Schmeichel gives Cardenas a trip to the line, and he makes both. 13-6 the score. Persic gets it across. The kick out. Carlin wanted the three. Pass tipped. Schmeichel picks it up. Can't hit the runner. Got his own miss. Moves in and gets the friendly bounce. Schmeichel, the 6'2 junior, gets on the board, and that ends the White Bear Lake run. Cardenas, 3-ball. Long. Foul on the Ponies. Adioshin hit with a foul. Stengel will take his spot. Just the first in Adioshin. Cardenas lines up another three. Everyone taking a spill, it seems. Schmeichel gets the rebound, hooks up with Carlin. On the outlet, Ty Carlin, the youngest of the three Carlin siblings. Liza and Lexi, the elders. Liza now playing professionally after an illustrious college career at Marquette and Notre Dame. Lexi currently playing college ball at Minnesota Duluth. Three from the Bears, offline. That was Kreider. Rebound Persic. He wants to go. Swatted away by Kreider. Woods will check back in for Cardenas. Take a look at this block.
Also number 12, Evan Anderson.
It's a side out for Stillwater, but you'll take it. Coaches will never fault you for that transition stop. Don't give up those easy points, as they say. Schmeichel. Back out to Carlin, who will reset. Persic again. Stillwater moving the ball around. Trying to go inside, but Gabe Smith was caught amidst a lot of traffic. Break for the Bears. There's Turner. Ellers. The dish. Kreider thought about it. Now trying to straddle in, draws the foul on Gabe Smith. He'll shoot free throws. Preston Kreider averaging about 9 a game. And there you see the bump. Not a big one from Gabe Smith, but it was enough for the official to signal the foul call. We'll be back here in a few days for White Bear Lake and Roseville girls basketball. I'll be with you as well as we wrap up the winter sports season. Boys hockey concluding their regular season this week. Ponies on the move. Carlin for 3. Couldn't get it to fall. Turner. Blocked by Carlin. And somewhere up in Duluth and somewhere out in Europe, there are at least 2 siblings who will be pleased to see that rejection. Steal by the Ponies. It's Bursic, one-on-one, the step through, and no, it was close. Carlin diving forward, hanging on to the ball. Jump ball was the call. White Bear Lake with the arrow. As we said, Stillwater, they're not afraid to make those lunges, those dives. White Bear Lake looking to go inside. Another foul on the Ponies. White Bear Lake calling timeout. (15-10) the score. By the way, Eliza Carlin, more specifically, playing in Hungary. When I had a chance to look it up. We talked about the closeness of the sections, and we'll show you a little more later on in this broadcast. But as we said, for Stillwater and White Bear Lake, it's going to be a tough out because 4 of the teams will have 20 wins or more. And we'll show you exactly what we mean a little later on. But again, it's going to be hard for those sleepers. There's another bump, this one from Kruzmark. That will be his second. As Adioshin is getting ready to return. He'll come in for Kruzmark. McQuay was looking for the long ball after the quick give and go with Cardenas. Now McQuay, they were trying to direct him toward the rim. And a mishandled dribble by Kreider gives the ball back to Stillwater. 15-10. That's Stengel. Over to Schmeichel. Adioshin. Adioshin shuffling his feet. Again for Stillwater, a win here would give them the regular season sweep over White Bear Lake. And even though these two probably won't host a first round game, seeding still matters because it will determine who they get first in section play. Here's a 3 from the wing. White Bear Lake, they had that one long ball from Cardenas, but that's it. Three-point shots not going down. Adioshin looking for the bunny inside, gets it back. Foul from behind, he'll shoot 2. First trip to the line for Stillwater. Located in Oak Park Heights. Technically, this is Stillwater area and White Bear Lake area, but I think most of you can make the distinction. But the Stillwater campus straddling the border between Stillwater proper and Oak Park Heights. Home to Lumberjack days. Adioshin knocking down the front end. He knocks down both. Up to 4, 15-12. White Bear Lake looking for the short range shot. And again, another empty possession. 3-point game now as Adioshin surveys the field. Stengel. Out to Smith. Carlin, the long 3. Offline. Kreider with the board. Oh, White Bear Lake flirting with danger there. Just getting it across before the 10-second call. Cardenas. Nowhere to go. Looking for help somewhere. White Bear Lake retrieves 6 on the shot clock. And a foul. It's on Carlin. Tough spot with the shot clock winding down. White Bear Lake seemingly caught in a pickle. Shot clock resets to 20, as you know, with the shot clock rules at the high school level. Similar to the college game. Piper outside the low post. Rains the hook. That's his first field goal, 17-12. Schmeichel hands it off to Adioshin. Looking to sneak around Hilderman. Keeps the dribble alive. Stillwater missing from short range. White Bear Lake looking to curl again. Stillwater reading the route. The turnaround. Tough shot for Piper. Both teams having to work for each and every point right now. Pass tipped away by the Bears. It will stay with the Ponies. Three on the way. Off the rim. One of those tough stretches you just have to navigate through if you're Stillwater and White Bear Lake. Ellers spotting Hilderman. Now they go back out to McQuay along the wing. Bullseye! 7 for McQuay. As we said for White Bear Lake, they won't get a winning season, but they could get a triumphant win. They take another step in that direction with the steal by Cardenas and the finish by McQuay. White Bear Lake regains momentum, 22-12, 5:29 left in the first. Stillwater calls timeout. is the steal off the entry pass for Cardenas. And McQuay goes up to 9 on that last play. McQuay averages just under 10, so he does have a sizable role on this team. And for Stillwater, even though they've played a lot of teams close, there is one metric that has proven to be a foreboding. Stillwater 7-2 when they lead at the half, 2-9 when they're trailing at half. Backdoor play, another miss. So the Ponies can ill afford. Gabe Smith was right there, had the open look. I say this a lot, those bunnies, you want to cash in. 5 minutes to go. Cardenas is sizing up another 3, but didn't have the shooting space. Now moves to the left side. Fires the step back shot. Rebound tipped back to the Bears. It was Hilderman. No second chance bucket for the Bears. As far as ball control goes, for the most part, Stillwater has done well. That has been the sore spot for Brady Hannigan's crew. It's the shots, and sometimes there's just not much you can do until they start going in again. Gabe Smith on the turnaround. It was a tough look, but he gets the Blinko bounce. And the Ponies cash in on that possession. McQuay. Adioshin intervenes. They want the 3. Clinks off the back iron. Hilderman with the rebound. Cardenas looking off a screen. Everyone trots out to their assignments. Another loose ball. Stillwater swipes it again. Oh, miscommunication. Stengel cut inside. Gabe Smith thought he was going to stay outside. White Bear Lake trying to attack the inside. Get the second chance score from Zach Turner. Back up by 10. Gabe Smith. The pass was bobbled, and he coughs it up. It's McQuay who's fouled. Stillwater in the penalty. That's the second on Carlin. And free throws for McQuay, who has 9. White Bear Lake hitting their marks at the free throw line so far. As I have a young fan who is mesmerized by our setup here. I've had that occur a few times this season, where students and younger fans are checking out our setup. And I hope they're checking out McQuay's effort. He's got 11. White Bear Lake still perfect from the line, 6 of 6. Stillwater escapes the pressure. Carlin throws it away. Woods barrels down court, but nothing to show for it. Reprieve for the Ponies. 3-ball, corner pocket. Owen Stengel thought about it for a moment as he lunged to pick up the pass. He thought correctly. White Bear Lake, they want the answer. Yes! Ellers with his first triple. White Bear Lake faring a little better at the three-point line. Stillwater getting their first one to fall. Now they go inside. Adioshin beat his man down low. He's up to 6. McQuay. Driving kick. 3-ball. Corner pocket. Once again. This time it's Turner. And White Bear Lake with some page turners from long range. Largest lead of the game. As we said, the record a little deceiving. White Bear Lake 5-15, but a lot of close ones. Ty Carlin wants the 3. It's short. And while the Bears and seemingly everyone else outside of the big names have struggled against the top tier candidates in the Suburban East, just about anyone else can beat each other. Preston Kreider with the spin move in the finish. White Bear Lake and fuego, as Dan Patrick would say. They lead by 15. They had the upper hand for most of this first half. The double team and the foul. Henry Persic was bottled up, and now McQuay will go to the line with 24.2 on the clock. As you saw in the replay, Persic was trying to spot the open man, Gabe Smith, on that double. But he was well covered. McQuay, the 6'1" guard. Taking a leading role for the Bears. Foul on White Bear Lake. They had a few to give as they missed for the first time. Still 7 of 8 at the line. Ponies could use a bucket here. And they'll get one as Owen Stengel runs downhill. White Bear Lake has time, though, to get the long pass in, but no bounce for the Bears. Officials having a discussion. White Bear Lake ball is the ruling. Much to Brady Hannigan's dismay, so the Bears will have 6.3 to get one more on the board. What has been an exemplary first half for the most part. McQuay over to Cardenas. They gotta go. Cardenas for 3. No dice, but White Bear Lake getting plenty of solid rolls in the first half. They lead 35-21 as we head to intermission. Not a whole lot of bright spots for the Bears this season, but not for lack of effort. If they can get one, as we said before, that would do them some good, as they try to piece together some momentum-building victories here at season's end. We'll be back with first half stats and analysis. This is high school boys basketball on SEC Sports. The Bears lead the Ponies 35-21.
Team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong, so I won't sugarcoat it. I need each one of you on your A game. The good news is, Anthony, the human body we've been tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with brand new gear to defend against the flu. That's right, we've upgraded our game with this new equipment. They give you a little extra boost. So let's go fight for Anthony, for his mom, his co-workers, that nice lady Patricia that lives down the street with the cute dog. In the face of viral adversity, we make Anthony thrive so he can protect himself and the people he loves most. Are you with me? Yeah!
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Those are a few excited young individuals. Everyone always loves to ham it up for the cameras, and we love every moment of it. And White Bear Lake certainly loving most, if not every, moment of the first half as they lead 35-21 over Stillwater in this Suburban East Conference rivalry. We should get an announcer camera here because I've got a bunch of kids who are looking at the monitor. But let's take a look at some first half highlights. Stillwater had some offensive struggles. They got a little stagnant midway through the first, but Kingland Adioshin got a couple of buckets to fall. That's Zach Kruzmark. That was his only look, but White Bear Lake not discouraged, even though they got sent away in a couple of transition plays. Nick Cardenas knocking down a three. He has 7. But the man of the first half was William McQuaid, as we see Ty Carlin's layup and subsequent block. 2 of his big plays from the first half. But White Bear Lake found their rhythm as the frame went on. Colin Piper, only 1 field goal. There's the man of the half, William McQuaid. That was his only 3, but he has 12 to lead the Bears. 35-21 the score, and 3-point shooting working in White Bear Lake's favor. As you can see, 4 of 10. Stillwater, just the 1 triple coming from Owen Stengel. They'll have to patch that up if they want to make a serious run in the second half. But for Stillwater, can they avoid another long drought? That will be their question as they try to get the regular season sweep over White Bear Lake. We'll have the second half when we return. This is high school boys basketball.
Mom, did you really need to buy 2 can openers for our emergency kit?
I can't help it. They're 2 for 1. What's this?
We need to keep our family communication plan safe in case of an emergency.
Thanks, Tita. Oh, man.
Well, good thing we kept all the lights we used for Diwali.
I've got the battery pack.
Keep my phone powered so we don't miss any alerts.
What about game night?
Sounds good.
Oh, we have to get to Mom and Dad's and get them somewhere safe. I've got the evacuation route loaded on my phone.
I've got an updated list of Dad's meds.
And I've got just what we need to get them to take this seriously.
If that doesn't convince them that we thought this through, I don't know what would.
Start a conversation with your family and plan together for emergencies.
Second half will start in just a moment here at the Galvin Court, White Bear Lake. And as we turn the page on the winter sports season, we have just a couple more games next week in our regular season coverage, at least through the month of February, and then we'll move on to boys hockey sections. They will start in a short while. The month of February marking that transition period. First half leaders, William McQuaid, 12 points to lead the Bears. Nick Cardenas, 7. And Ehlers and Turner with 5. Stillwater, 6 from Adeocean, 5 from Stengel, 4 from Gabe Smith. But not as much to speak of offensively for the Ponies. As the starters return to the floor, Stillwater looking for the long ball right away. Persic unable to connect. McQuay. Can he parlay that strong first half? Cardenas wants a 3. It's long. Persic working off the screen set by Smith. Adeocean. His 3's in and out. Win for the Bears, and it would be an encouraging signal for a potential upset prospect. The baseline jumper drops in for Colin Piper. Persic gets free, finds Adeocean, who gets the friendly bounce. Persic, for a second, I thought was going to trip himself up. Found Adeocean at the last possible moment, and it looked a little awkward from up here, but it goes in. That's what counts. Now the Bears looking for the inside attack. They don't get it. As Kruzmark staying on top of Jonathan Woods. The handoff from Persic. Stillwater moving the ball quickly. Those fadeaways always tough. As Gabe Smith found a lot of traffic in the paint. Goes to Cardenas. Pass, I think, may have been altered, deflected. In any event, Stillwater gets the ball. Adeocean steps up for a 3 and buries it. I guess the more accurate term would be stepping back, but stepping up also apropos, knocking down a big one. Stillwater still has work to do. But that could help. Adeocean reading the route and getting the jump. As we've said before, White Bear Lake, they've had stretches of futility, including that game with Roseville we talked about. Allowing the Raiders to get the win, but the entry pass, nowhere to go. And White Bear Lake gets it back. Piper, bottled up, throws up a shot and gets the foul call. He'll go to the free throw line for 2. We'd like to welcome all of you tuning in live, wherever you are, whether it's White Bear Lake, the Stillwater area, somewhere in between, or somewhere far beyond. Piper missing the front end. He is the leading scorer for the Bears, had 19 in the first meeting. Picked up 30 in a win over Woodbury earlier this year. They'll take a split on that possession. White Bear Lake unofficially 8 of 10 at the free throw line. Stillwater just 1 trip. That was from Adeocean, who made both of them. Smith looking to power his way through. Once again, harassed by the likes of Kreider and a couple of others. Cardenas spots up a three. Yes! Cardenas with 10. White Bear Lake not looking to slow down. Smith still having a tough time inside. He's got 4 points. But Carlin will check in. Smith running into some obstacles, hurdles, navigating the low post. Stillwater swings it around. There's Schmeichel. He's looking for the turnaround. Now he's cut off. A lot of orange surrounding him. Schmeichel dumps it inside. That's Kruzmark who gets the reverse. White Bear Lake on the run. And Jonathan Woods catches Stillwater falling asleep. Sometimes the best scoring opportunities are right after your opponent does. Kruzmark, the three isn't there. Who touched it? It's Jonathan Woods. Nearly collided. Well, this ought to be a shot. I thought Woods was gonna ran right into our camera operator down there. Still a good look though, and Carlin, that's the bane of every ball handler. You make your move before the dribble. You just get a half step ahead of yourself.
Win 8 on 5, guys. Gotta be 8 people.
No harm, no foul. White Bear Lake with an errant throw. Persic to Schmeichel. Kruzmark inside Persic. White Bear Lake sealing off the interior quite well. They made it difficult for Stillwater to establish that foundation. As we noted, a lot of close games for White Bear Lake. They just happen to be on the losing end. And while these two, again, have a tall hill to climb in their section, White Bear Lake really not that far off from being a sleeper team. And that perception could change starting tonight if they can record the win over Stillwater. They get it across the timeline. Kruzmark attacks and scores. That's the feast or famine proposition. White Bear Lake out of the high post. Another three. This one long. Cardenas trying to utilize that long ball. Can Stillwater string some scores? That's the question. Carlin inside to Kruzmark. And Stillwater fans wanted a goaltend call as one of the White Bear Lake defenders hit the backboard. Brady Hannigan venting his frustrations. Cardenas catches and buries the three. His third three-pointer, and that's a psychological blow for the Ponies. But still a lot of time, 11:30 to go. Persic. Almost got bottled up again. White Bear Lake getting production. Out of their supporting players. Let's take another look at the play that was ruled a no goaltend. You saw Jonathan Woods hit the backboard. And what was tougher to tell from that angle was the ball making a downward descent. Another empty possession for the Ponies. White Bear Lake can add to their lead. 16 is their largest. Rocking and rolling from three-point range. Here's another one, but it's off the rim. And a foul as Owen Stengel gets sent to the hardwood. For White Bear Lake, the vibe, the mood, the feelings of being so close, right there. And all those annoyances, vexations that come with it. And so many chances for victory go unclaimed. Carlin fouled on the way up. He'll shoot two. Ty Carlin, the quote-unquote little brother, actually hide runs in the family. Liza stands at 6'2", Lexi is 6 feet. And Ty listed at 6'5". Gets the front end to fall. Again, Ty Carlin missed the first half of the season to injury. Back for 7 games now, averaging just over 6 a game. He'll have to settle for the split. Here's another three for the Bears. This one bounces off the rim and will be saved by the Bears. Here's McQuay. Colliding with Schmeichel. Dawson dragged his foot. I saw the drag from up here, so did the officials. And this is a recurring theme where Stillwater can string a few stops. What they have yet to do is go on that big run that White Bear Lake did in the first half. That has more or less defined this game. Carlin lost the handle. Remember the ball security that we spoke of? Brady Hannigan told me in his coaching career at Stillwater this season, there were a couple of games where the Ponies said, personal records you don't want to set. And White Bear Lake scores again. It's Emmett Anderson. Now the bench players getting in on the fast break action. But Stillwater, in a couple of games this season, they had 27 turnovers in one game, 29 in another, and it's just really difficult to function the way you want to when you're turning them over the ball that much. I don't care what level it is. Smith, another mishandled dribble. And White Bear Lake looking to floor it again. McQuay. I'm not sure what to make of it. There was some contact. McQuay then trying to make a desperation pass. Jump ball, White Bear Lake with the arrow. Of course, it is a lot easier to make these suggestions and analyses when you're up here and you don't have to make split-second decisions in succession. But I think it goes without saying, this has been one of the most complete games we've seen out of White Bear Lake in a season where they've had a tough time putting it all together. Cardenas drains the mid-range pull-up. He has 15. And White Bear Lake up by 19. It looks like they've got this one secured, but Stillwater finally gets a bucket from their leading man, Henry Persich. The senior had gone scoreless up until that point. Got the first step on Zach Turner. And we'll see what this three-point play chance can do for the Ponies. 8:42 left. Stillwater considers White Bear Lake to be one of their biggest rivals. And historically, the two schools have resided in the same section. No matter who comes and goes, and that helps build up those rivalries. Stillwater takes a timeout. They have 2 remaining, with about 8 minutes left in the second half. Brady Hannigan giving his team instruction. This is where you really have to dig in, or play along to the cha-cha slide, as those young fans are doing. A classic stadium staple. Remember the section standings and how tough that group will be? Well, here's a closer look. Those are the standings based on QRF. And the QRF, it's a calculation, sometimes tough to tell between that and the coaches. The coaches will decide who seeds the section, but Eastridge, Cretin-Derham, Hall, and Tartan all right there. Tartan undefeated, but third based on QRF. However, with wins over Maple Grove and Hopkins, that might be enough to get them the 1 seed. That being said, in the past, I understand sometimes the Suburban East coaches will step up for each other, and that might give Eastridge or Cretin-Derham Hall a shot at the 1 seed. And the seeding matters because it will determine your path. If you get the 1 seed, you would have the easiest path to a section title and state tournament appearance. If you're seeded 2 or 3, you're going to have a brutal semifinal as White Bear Lake looks for the 3. Another offensive rebound for Woods, who gets out of a jam. Piper with the leaner. Woods again, 10 on the shot clock. Cardenas, long range, off the heel. St. Paul Central, as you saw in the 4 spot, should reach 20 wins, but the question for the Minutemen, did they eat a little too much cotton candy? Adioshin, tough shot, scrapping for it, gets underneath, but can't lay it in. 49-34. Bears up by 15, trying to get to the finish line. And even for the teams that will have to go on the road, as White Bear Lake goes inside. Stillwater, if they can keep that 5 seed, they would get St. Paul Central and avoid. White Bear Lake falls on the loose ball and uses the timeout to keep possession. Even if you get a road game, as I'm hearing some remarks from the fans up here, if you get a 5 seed, for example, that would put you along the path with St. Paul Central. Of course, you'd have to take on whoever the 1 seed is in the next round. But White Bear Lake, as the 7 seed, you're going to get a top flight team if things end as they are right now. And that is one of the secondary storylines when it comes to the fight for section seeding. Nick Cardenas leading the Bears, 15 points. McQuay has not scored in the second half, hasn't needed to though. Adioshin leading the Ponies with 11, but points have been hard to come by for the red team, based in Oak Park Heights. Foul away from the ball.
The foul will come on Stillwater, number 34. Zach Kuzma, his third, team second.
Officials making sure everything is in order. Cardenas the inbounder. Upper Lake moves it around. Cardenas scampering back to the left corner, now retreats. White Bear Lake wouldn't be surprised if they approach these possessions a little more deliberately. On the shot clock. Piper hooks up with Kreider. His three goes off the back of the cylinder. Stillwater step it up in time. Persich trying a little misdirection. Instead spun himself into heavy traffic again. Ponies ball, 6:28 left. Trailing by 15. Persich. A quick release three. Looked good, but it didn't fall in. McQuay gets caught shuffling his feet. Persich. Bounce pass inside to Smith. The fake, but Piper reacts in time for the block. McQuay gets fouled. We've got an exchange going on between the spectators. You can probably guess how each side feels about that one. But the Bears, again, up to this point, playing the most complete game of the season. Cardenas fakes, now fires from mid-range again. Nick Cardenas racking up buckets, 17 points. Kruzmark, pounded and surrounded, throws it away. Woods outruns everybody. And the Bears won't be hibernating tonight. 2 days from Valentine's Day. Carlin inside, count it. A chance for three for Ty Carlin. The junior, he's got another year. I'm sure he spent many nights watching his big sisters, and now he gets his turn. There's a lot of sports lineage in that family. Now Ty making his mark. Cardenas looking to extend his, but his three sailed past the rim. Stillwater ball, 53-37. Persich ducking and dodging. Finds Adioshin, who mishandled the pass. Adioshin committing the error we often see in college football and the NFL, where a receiver looks ahead before making the catch. Adioshin did the same thing, caught the ball, but looked away just before it got to him. It goes back to what I said earlier. Sometimes athletes get ahead of themselves. But Persic gets back on defense and swipes it again. Had a tough angle as he tried to go coast to coast. 4:23 left. Stillwater with 2 timeouts remaining. White Bear Lake with 3. Carlin inside the Adioshin. Blocked from behind again. White Bear Lake, a big reason why they have played well tonight, the interior defense. Upping the degree of difficulty anytime Stillwater gets in the paint. Well, Stillwater has scored a few times down there. White Bear Lake doing more than enough to keep them at bay. Four minutes now. McQuay through Carlin, extra pass. White Bear Lake mindful of the clock now. Cardenas lobs it underneath. Preston Kreider dribbled it off his leg. I thought he had a great chance at a bucket down low. He had the positioning, he had the advantage inside and just coughed it up. White Bear Lake, they have a sizable lead, so there's room for error, but not how you want to see that possession executed, especially when you work off that much time from the clock. Persic, yes! A lot would have to go Stillwater's way, but Persic does get a bucket after the Ponies get the unexpected stop. Cardenas moves out, 3 on the way. That grazes the front iron. Another stop for the Ponies, and that one didn't take as much time. Stillwater looking for another bucket. A big 3-pointer from Adioshin. He's got 14, and Stillwater trying to make this interesting. 53-42, again, a lot would have to happen still, but the Ponies looking for that last gasp. No room for error if you're Stillwater now. White Bear Lake will use a timeout, 2:42 left. And this is why teams keep scratching, scraping, rummaging for any glimpse, any path that can change their fortune. And as we've said before, White Bear Lake, they've had difficulty closing out on multiple occasions this season. Those hardships, one of the reasons why they've lost so many close ones. But let's take a look at one of the playmakers for White Bear Lake. William McQuay did not score, hasn't scored I should say, in the second half, but gave the Bears a big spark of energy in the first half with 12 points. Flexing his agility and his range, as we see on that play. Cardenas set him up, and it's Cardenas who has played a big role in this half. 17 overall, 10 in the second half for Cardenas. As White Bear Lake tries to coast to the finish line. 3 on the shot clock. McQuay, got it! His first bucket of the second half, and it's a big one. Carlin looking for the leaner. It doesn't drop in. And that should just about do it. So White Bear Lake will pick up that long-sought victory in a season where they've had few of them. They had wins over Mountain View and Andover recently, and then back-to-back losses, including a 2-point defeat to Park of Cottage Grove. In that series, both losses to Park were within single digits. But they won't have to think about what could have been or what almost was tonight. And looking at the rest of the schedule, they have a chance to right some more wrongs. Irondale and Forest Lake, two more teams who beat them by close margins. St. Paul Central could be a tough out as they are approaching 20 wins. Athletes have long memories, but if you're White Bear Lake, I think it pays to have a short one. And Stillwater, here's Adioshin, who just gets ahead of his coverage. He'll go to 16 with that. Adioshin and the Ponies, I think they'll look at some of those miscues, some of those unforced errors I talk about. Loose ball picked up by the Ponies. Persic gets hacked. He'll shoot two. 1:18 to go. But I just don't know if there's enough time. At the start of the game, I mentioned Brady Hannigan's comparison to the stock market to assess Stillwater's performance this season. And any of you who have been stock traders know about those peaks and valleys. And how it leaves you feeling high on a good day and has you pulling at your hair on a rough day. But Hannigan feels there are a lot of attributes that could make the Ponies a sleeper team in Section 4-4A. Spurtich knocks down the free throws. Cardenas looking for the quick score, doesn't get it. Still a 10-point margin with just over a minute to go. And Persic, I did see the bunny hop. The call a little late, but I thought I saw a bunny hop from here. And that goes back to what I was saying, the unforced errors. And even in the midst of a tense situation, a high pressure scenario, as McQuay catches the outlet and goes streaking to the court, streaking to the rim. Delay of game warning on White Bear Lake. As you know, the scoring team cannot touch the ball. Now the call is a bench technical. So Persic will go to the line. Okay, a technical foul on McQuay after the delay of game. Let's take another look at this and see. Okay. There's the technical. McQuay poked at the ball as Cruzmark gathered for the inbound. That's where the technical was issued. Persic splits at the line, and I know McQuay is trying to get the team to win, but that's not how you do it. Officials, they don't like it when you show up opponents, and they're not going to like it when you make a move like that, especially when you're up big. There's a 3, that's long from Kruzmark, like Stingel, I should say. And McQuay, 16 points, but I just can't envision any scenario where you would need to do what he just did. You score, get back on defense, or get ahead of the other side's defense and keep making plays like Jonathan Woods just did. White Bear Lake, they were caught on the wrong end more than once of these close games. It won't be a photo finish, but it could be a win that serves as a turning point for this group, whether it comes this season or next year. You look at the roster, and there are a couple of faces who will be graduating, but a lot of players scheduled to return as Ty Carlin commits the foul. Stillwater still has one more to give. We've seen a few of these performances this week on SEC. Matamidi girls basketball, even though they didn't get the win over De La Salle. They didn't get run out of the building either. And White Bear Lake, a team that only had 5 wins to their name, but a lot of close finishes. They put enough pieces together to locate the winning effort. They'll take a shot clock violation, and that's never happened before. That's a strange way to end the game. There was about 4.5 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. The shot clock froze at 1 for a few seconds, and we'll just call it a final. A bizarre way to end it, but a bountiful victory nonetheless for White Bear Lake, 60-47 the final. I don't think you could get away with this at the college level or the NBA, but White Bear Lake, they got on that big run early, and as we said, the interior defense doing its job throughout the game. They kept Stillwater, and White Bear Lake will keep the trophy. Like we said, this is a rivalry. The trophy wasn't a prize for a while, but the gas can, oil can, whatever lubrication you want to put in there. At the moment for White Bear Lake, I think they would put in some liquid gold, because that's what they feel like. And this is why you keep on playing, you keep on battling, no matter the result. You just never know when you'll get those highlights. So the oil can will go to White Bear Lake, at least until next season. 60-47 the final. The Bears go to 6-15. Stillwater goes to 10-12. Looking at the final numbers, Nick Cardenas 17 points, William McQuay 16 to lead the Bears, Kingland Adeocean 16 to lead the Ponies. And there's 3 of those points from Adeocean. Cardenas was feeling his range in the second half. He got 10 in the second. There's the reverse from Zach Kruzmark. He finishes with 6. Persic did not score until the second half. Ended up with 8, but one of the factors that aided the Bears. There's another bucket from Cardenas. Persic again. Henry, he's had some strong games, and he still may have time for a few more, but White Bear Lake just strung enough together for that wire-to-wire victory. As we take a look at the final numbers, both teams still have a couple weeks left, so plenty of opportunities to regroup and get focused. It was just White Bear Lakes night, but these two may still have some more surprises ahead as we conclude the regular season in a couple of weeks. Join us again on Tuesday for girls basketball. We're back here at White Bear Lake, the Galvin Court, White Bear Lake, and Roseville. Until then, for the rest of the SEC crew, this is Mike Beating thanking you for watching live coverage of high school boys basketball.